Hello everyone, I'm back already. Look at that. This is a relatively quick turnaround for video to video. I have just acquired this bad boy. This is a Sony Trinitron Multiscan 100ES CRT monitor. Trinitrons are generally agreed upon as some of the more higher end CRTs of this era. This one, the Multiscan, is a bit more generic than what you'll find in flat screen, super high res variants, but it's still a nice little monitor. Now I got this thing on trade for a Sony Vaio Windows Vista laptop that was still in box. That was a pretty cool thing, but I kind of had my fun with it, and something you'll find about me is CRTs are kind of my kryptonite. I can't say no to them. I love messing with them. I love fixing them. I love just having them, and yeah. This was offered to me, and I said, yeah, sure, why not? Something I couldn't quite tell from pictures and didn't realize till I saw it in person, though, is that this is a yellow boy. That is not just the lighting, making it look like it's made of Heinz mustard. So just for a frame of reference, this is the color that should be. That is not good. Now, this boy's been thoroughly baked all the way through, perfectly golden, like a perfectly toasted marshmallow. Yellowing ivory plastics of this era are a pretty well documented phenomenon, but it's very rare you see one that's this thoroughly yellowed. I mean, all the way around. This thing was getting a good amount of sunlight. Usually when it comes to yellowing on old tech like this, one side will be more yellow than another because it will have seen more UV light coming from, let's say, a window or something. So this thing is actually perfect for me to show off my retrobrighting techniques. I think I'll call this video how to retrobrite the jank way, or the lazy way. I don't know. This is the way that I do it. Now, I know there's going to be a lot of comments and a lot of people talking about whether or not it's worth retrobrighting. There are documented cases of DMG Game Boys and stuff of that nature rapidly re-yellowing after a retrobrite process. Now, that isn't really a concern of mine because my method of retrobriting is so trivial that I don't really care if it re-yellows in 2 or 3 years. If it's something that I really care about, I'm just gonna redo the process. It's honestly fine. So, in order to make this thing look new again, we have to go outdoors. You can really tell how yellow this thing is in the sunlight. Eesh. Now, the reason this is the jank method is because I'm going to do this without disassembling anything. Now, generally speaking, when you take on retrobriting old tech, you should disassemble it so that you don't risk getting anything into any internal componentry, especially with monitors. Generally, you can get away with just coating it and just doing it all fully assembled. And I'm very lazy, so that's the way I usually do it. I've done it this way with about half a dozen CRT monitors now, and I've never had any issues with it affecting functionality. You just have to go about it carefully, especially around these back fins, or you don't want to go too heavy anywhere things could seep in and potentially get into any componentry. But the stuff I use for this method does evaporate very quickly, so if it does get on stuff, general rule of thumb, just give it some time to dry off and it should be okay. I don't know, I'm just sharing how I do it because I've had a bunch of people ask me, and it's the jank way. So now this is my retrobriting arsenal. Literally just any form of cling wrap, a brush, but honestly you don't even really need this. You can just slather it on with your hands. But this is what does the heavy lifting here. Pure white 40 volume developer. I don't know why, I just kind of have this aversion to buying online if I think I can get something same day at store. Maybe that's just ADHD brain or something, but this is very hard to find at an actual physical store. So I recommend just buying this stuff online. Gloves, because if you don't wear them and you get this stuff on your skin, it will turn your skin powder white. Ask me how I know. Now, in case you do get this stuff on your skin at all, fun fact, coconut oil takes it right off. You just gotta rub it into wherever you got the stain on your skin and give it about half an hour and it'll come right back. So that's pretty cool. All right, now I have a feeling a lot of people are gonna be like, no, don't do it that way. 8-bit guy did that and he got a bunch of streaks on that compact. He did it on like a portable computer or something and it ended up with a lot of streaks. I haven't had that issue because what I do with this method is every 20 minutes or so, I'll go in and out of the house and I'll just tinkle it up. I'll just mess with the saran wrap and get it to a point where the high and low spots are different. I don't like, there's a bee just flying right there. I wonder if I can get him on camera. He's just floating around. He's keeps coming over here and just kind of looking at me. All right, well, the bee may or may not have scared me away by successfully intimidating me, but also I have a lot better direct light out here in the actual yard. Now, generally the way I'm gonna do this is I'm just going to pour this directly onto the brush and give the whole thing a nice thin layer of it, and then try to wrap it as tightly as I can in the cling seal here. And yeah, just leave it out here in the sun, come outside, ruffle up the cling seal every 20 or so minutes, and it should look pretty good. It's a nice sunny day out here, so let's go ahead and get it started. It's not perfect, but just keep in mind you kind of want like a greenhouse effect, where it's actually trapping the developer inside of this closed kind of greenhouse that is causing the plastic to suck it in. I don't know, I'm not Walter White. I'm not gonna pretend I understand fully the chemical process of what's going on here. I just understand slather thing on thing, put thing in sun, thing turn nice and look new. Retrobriting is a highly debated thing. People talk about, is it worth doing? People talk about what methods are best. I've tried peroxide tubs, indoor UV lit setups, and honestly, this method just always gives me the best results and the most quickly as well. So I don't know, it just always seems to work for me. So we're gonna check on this thing in a little bit, and I'm periodically going to shuffle it around and kind of shake up where the wrap is to get rid of these high spots. That's where you get your streaking and your unevenness. So you just want to make sure that you're actively paying attention to the retrobrite process. By the way, this tire here isn't just there for decoration, although it does look amazing. It's actually just protecting a chestnut tree my friend gave me as a housewarming gift. When I say ruffle it up, I mean like, just give it a little bit of that, you know? Just give it a little bit of that, you know? It's good to go. And whenever you do that, you know, you're just gonna wanna rotate it a little bit, just make sure it gets a good amount of the sun. The sun is a deadly laser. And you can actually already see the top here compared to the side. This has been roasting pretty good. This was kind of in the shadow, so it's already making a major difference, and it's only been about 20 minutes. We'll just keep at it for the rest of the day. And now for the grand reveal. Ta-da! Now this was a particularly badly yellowed monitor, so honestly it could use one more session outside. This is after just about 5 hours, and I was planning on doing 2 sessions here, but unfortunately the weather is not going to allow for it for the rest of the week, so this is what we're left with here. Certainly a massive improvement. In person, really, you can tell. But in general, I'd say this looks pretty fantastic. I still haven't tested this thing, so I should probably go ahead and do that. I was told that it worked, so I hope it works. That would be good. And just for comparison's sake, once again, this is a pretty much brand new old stock IBM Focus One monitor. And here's our Trinitron. So overall, still a little bit of a tinge, but I mean, just so much less mustardy. And another thing to keep in mind about ivory plastics is that some, even when brand new, were more yellow than others. IBM stuff of this era, this being kind of like made of the same plastic type you'll find like a Model M keyboard to be made of, is really, really white. Whereas something like this was probably just a tinge more yellow right out the box. But let's go ahead and set this thing up and actually test it. I'm gonna have to go ahead and temporarily evict my stylish end table from my living room. Jeez, I forgot how tall this thing is. Just adjust my camera back. I got a lot of comments when I originally did this build that it wasn't really period correct for 95. I knew this was a late 90s, early 2000s kind of thing. I just wanted something that would be really fast on 95. But off camera, I consistently mess with my machines and play around with them a lot, so I ended up putting NT on it. Nice. Well, there it is. Our monitor works. I think the results speak for themselves. It looks pretty good now. Well, that's a wrap for this one. That's how I do it. Not gonna call it the best way or even the right way, but it's just the way that I've done it for quite a while. And whenever I make a post on Blue Sky about a retrobrite, I have a lot of people always asking me, how do you do that? What, can you make a video on that? So, by the way, follow me on Blue Sky. I post all my shenanigans on there. Only if you want that though. You know how it is. Peace.